Thank you. I'm back here. I'm back here now for my second 3 hours of our retrospective. After the first half, the switchboard at NBC literally lit up with calls. But here I am anyway. Well, there was quite a response. The Canadian Embassy offered to hide me. And the press was wonderful. The LA Times said for the first half of the retrospective, Bob Hope was given 3 hours. He should have gotten 10 years. The Associated Press said Bob Hope proved to be a remarkable physical specimen. In the 20 years the show covered, he didn't age as much as we did in 3 hours. The New York Times said at one point Bob Hope alluded to the fact that he had a machine gun delivery. Too bad the audience didn't. And don't you love all those black and white prints of me as a young man? My makeup man was ecstatic. He now has something to go by. Frankly, I'd be kind of glad when this show was over. Just to stay in the mood, I've been sleeping in a foxhole. That fox is pretty nasty. Hey, how about the Canadian Embassy helping those 6 Americans escape from Iran? Wasn't that great? I wouldn't say we're appreciative, but Prime Minister Joe Clark is now leading Jimmy Carter in the New Hampshire primary. And the Ayatollah Khomeini wanted to declare war on Canada, but he changed his mind. Someone showed him a film of a hockey game. Now, the Iranian foreign minister complained that what the Canadians did was illegal. That's like Elizabeth Ray calling Mary Poppins a tramp. Hey, and how about the post office issuing a W.C. Field stamp? Huh? Boy. Yes, sir. I'll drink to that. No, it's very expensive. It's the only stamp that comes with a knollet. When you lick it, you get a bourbon taste. And you know how stamps usually come in sheets? These come 3 sheets to the wind. The post office wanted to issue a Liz Taylor stamp, but they were afraid people would lick the wrong side. And they have a Howard Cosell stamp. Before you paste it on, it gives you the entire 200-year history of the post office. And Phyllis Diller has a stamp. When you lick it, it licks back. Actually, the post office has a Henny Youngman stamp. They had one, but it didn't sell. It was pitiful. You could hear all the clerks pleading, "Take my stamp, please." I'm glad to hear about W.C. Fields. I was in the first movie he was in. Well, I know we were together. He was the star. In the big broadcast in 1938, and it's not true that he hated children. He was very nice to me. Hey, and how about the president's new budget? $616 billion. He just better get elected. He can never go back to peanuts, I'll tell you that. $616 billion. I didn't think my voice went that high. In 1976, Carter promised to balance the budget. He would have, too, if it wasn't for the inflation he promised to eliminate. Now, $142 billion is going for defense. Carter figures that's not too much to keep the Russians out of the Persian Gulf and the Republicans out of the White House. No, the president delivered the budget to Congress last week, but it was hand-carried. He didn't want to waste 15 cents on a stamp. The budget's very complicated, so if you don't understand it, don't worry. It'll all be explained on your income tax. Now, at the end of the next fiscal year, the federal debt will be $939 billion, which comes to $4,229 for every man, woman, and child. Aren't you glad you live in a free country? How about that? When a baby is born in this country, he already owes $4,229. Let's not slap these kids anymore, huh? And the president has predicted a year of economic misery ahead. And I told my wife, Dolores, we'll have to tighten our belts, and she said, good. I'll go down to Gucci's tomorrow and get one. But the big news to hit the paper this week was Operation Abscam, which was the title chosen by the FBI when they decided to make a sequel to The Sting. FBI agents disguised themselves as Arabs and then gave congressmen thousands of dollars for alleged favors. Isn't that fantastic? If Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. had thought of it, he'd still be on the air. You know, they have a tape of a congressman stuffing $50,000 worth of cash into his pockets. I don't know what the Attorney General will do about it, but Carl Malden will never forgive him. No, they have tapes of all these congressmen accepting money, but it isn't legal. They didn't let 60 Minutes know. Of course, everyone's denying they were involved. Reporters knocked on one congressman's door and asked him if he had attended the parties. He said, I've never met an Arab in my life. And he took another sip of his goat's milk. The FBI got everything on film, and the whole place was wired for sound. The guests should have realized something was strange when the sheik kept saying, "Here, speak into the Cobra." One congressman said he was innocent. He thought he was on The Price is Right. Some people go down to the sea in ships. Here's another way Texaco is doing it. Hey, you want to meet a guy who's really in deep water? He's on top of what's going to be the largest Texaco offshore rig ever. It's off the coast of Scotland, and it cost around $500 million. When it's fully operational, it'll be able to deliver almost 4 million gallons of oil a day. Will that help America? It sure will. Because in the North Sea or here at home, finding oil anywhere reduces dependence everywhere. Texaco, we're working to keep your trust.
In 1931, Texaco developed a new gasoline for emergency vehicles called Fire Chief. Not just for fire engines, but family cars too. In 1941, Texaco helped create a fuel refining process for the national defense.
For tomorrow, Texaco is working on a way of turning America's plentiful coal into clean burning gas. These are some of the ways Texaco is making good use of America's energy resources. Texaco, we're working to keep your trust.
It's Christmas, 1965. Here we are in our great white whale headed for the Far East, Thailand, Vietnam, Guam, and a visit to the USS Ticonderoga in the South China Sea. The war in Vietnam was building up, and we're on our way to visit our guys stationed over there. Along the way, we occasionally sneaked into the cockpit and borrowed a set of headphones. Here I am with lovely Carol Baker talking to the ground, trying to make sure the troops down there were ours. Not long ago, we were advisors over here. On this trip, we noticed a dramatic change. Though security was at a maximum, everywhere we went, our boys managed to gather for our shows. Under the most treacherous wartime conditions, they still had the need to laugh, to relax, and if only for a moment, to share a sense of life back home. Here we are in Chu Lai. We're very thrilled to be here in John Wayne Land. The other bases invited me. This one dared me. You know how they say a Marine is so tough he can eat nails? I ate at the Marine mess last night. It was the best thing on the menu. And it's kind of remote here. These guys go to bed with a rifle by their side. Not for safety, for companionship. This is the most secret base I've ever visited. Everything's strictly hush-hush. At dawn, the bugler just thinks reveille. And he tiptoes from bunk to bunk and whispers, "The general's up, how about you?" You know, when you put a show together like this, the most important ingredients you start with is the glamour gal. And we're very lucky this year because we picked up the glamour gal of Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. It's Carol Baker, right here. How do you like this group of tigers, huh?
Oh, they make a beautiful sight. It looks like one big dessert tray.
Been left out in the sun too long. I'm glad you could make the trip, Carol.
Well, I want to thank you for bringing me. You had your choice of so many girls, and yet you picked me.
Well, actually, it was due to your agent.
Really?
Yeah, he hates to see a man cry.
Oh, Bob, you're too modest. Why, every glamour girl in Hollywood was begging to go on this trip with you.
Who told you that?
You did.
Well, at least it came from a reliable source.
Bob, how is it that we've never been in a picture together?
Oh, I think the code only allows one sex symbol at a time. Here's one boy the guys really wanted to meet. Jack Jones.
I had a request for this song, and in order to do it, I need to sing to a girl. There aren't too many, but I see a few here. Would you like to come up and participate in this song, please? Lieutenant? Hey, a little girl, comb your hair, fix your makeup. Soon he will open the door. Don't think because there's a bar on your shoulder you needn't try anymore. For wax should always be lovers too. Run his arms the
Oh, that's
moment
great, Jack. She's a nurse.
he comes home. Oops, I goofed already, right. I'm warning you. Hey, little girl, better wear something pretty. Where to go to the city and dim all the lights, pour the wine, start the music. Time to get ready for love. Time to get ready. Are you ready? Time to get ready. Oh!
Specialist fourth, Brian H. O'Connell here. Where is he? Would you come up, please? This fellow is from Studio City, California. And just before we got on the plane... You know about this?
I know something about it.
You do, huh? They told you backstage. Just before we got on the plane, his wife brought this over to us. And here's a picture of twins, his twins that he's never seen, right here. And I just want you to take a peek at these little kids. It's the first time he's ever seen them. Those